It began this morning with an exchange of nasty tweets between Senator Bob Corker and President Trump, and intensified this afternoon with the announcement from frequent Trump critic Senator Jeff Flake that he will not seek re-election next year. So much for a day that was supposed to center around a relaxed working lunch between the president and Senate Republicans on tax reform. We have Fox team coverage tonight. Mike Emanuel is on Capitol Hill with what we know is in the tax plan and what we know is not as of tonight. But we start off right here with Chief White House correspondent John Roberts and the Republican on Republican rhetorical violence. Quite something today, John.
It was really unbelievable, Brett, but it was another day, another extraordinary moment in the Trump administration, something that I have never seen before. A senator rising in the Senate to rip his own party's president.
I rise today to say enough.
It was a stunning scene in the Senate. Arizona Republican Jeff Flake, who faces a tough re-election next year, took to the floor to say he's retiring, and in the process delivered a full-throated denunciation of President Trump.
Reckless, outrageous, and undignified behavior has become excused and countenanced as telling it like it is, when it is actually just reckless, outrageous, and undignified. And when such behavior emanates from the top of our government, it is something else. It is dangerous to a democracy.
The remarkable moment happened hours after Tennessee Senator Bob Corker relit the torch on his feud with President Trump. In an interview this morning, ripping the president for tweeting that 401k contributions were off limits in the debate over how to pay for tax reform.
Hopefully the White House will step aside and let that occur in a normal process. I know recently the White House in a couple of cases has been taking things off the table, and I would just say there's a lot of work to be done. The spinach part of this, the tough part of this is upcoming over the next several weeks.
President Trump, who has long insisted that when he gets hits back harder, tweeted in part, Bob Corker, who helped President Obama give us the bad Iran deal and couldn't get elected dog catcher in Tennessee, is now fighting tax cuts. But Corker didn't stop, giving more interviews in the halls of Capitol Hill, announcing he wouldn't support the president's re-election and now regrets backing him in the first place, and accused the president of debasing the nation.
I don't think there's any question, but that's the case, just in the way that he conducts himself and goes to such a low level. I do. But look, I mean, the rest of us need to do what we can to act as statesmen.
Never one to let an insult go unanswered, President Trump fired back again on Twitter, writing, quote, Senator Corker is the incompetent head of the Foreign Relations Committee. Look how poorly the U.S. has done. People like little Bob Corker have set the U.S. way back. In the middle of all of this, President Trump joined Corker, Flake, and the rest of the Senate Republicans for a policy lunch. The White House insists tax reform was a big topic, though Corker poo-pooed the confab, suggesting there wasn't much of substance.
The tax reform barely came up.
The Senate Majority Leader, hoping to preserve some semblance of party unity, wouldn't comment on the tit-for-tat. But other Republicans were alarmed that a petty feud was stealing headlines from an important legislative issue.
So all this stuff you see on a daily basis on Twitter this and Twitter that, forget about it. Let's focus on helping people.
When asked about Flake's resignation, the press secretary today said given his past statements and his lack of support in his home state of Arizona, it was probably a good thing that he decided to retire. On Corker, Sarah Huckabee Sanders dismissed his criticism, saying he was probably simply trying to grab a few headlines on his way out the door. You know, they actually have a machine here that they use to sharpen their elbows.
It was quite something.
Wow.
John, every day. Thank you.